There we go. All right, welcome everyone. It is nearly Halloween here for us right now, and I saved this presentation on the Crossroads for this date in particular because the space between sort of the material visible realm and the invisible thins this time of year. And the last year or so, I've been sitting with this idea of crossroads because a year ago, right now, I prepared the garlic presentation. And during that presentation, I encountered crossroads and I was sort of struck by them in a way that I hadn't been before. And I've just been sitting with it quietly. And then last month with owls, I also encountered crossroads. And owls, as we recall, bring us from, that light of twilight into the darkness of the night. And they take us from the waking world into that dreaming, liminal, unknown space of mystery and exploration and even wisdom, and sometimes a little bit of uncertainty. And I thought, oh wow, crossroads in nature might be really fun. So here we are, exploring crossroads in nature tonight. And I have a slideshow. I'll go ahead and get it started.
Is recording too.
Yes, it's recording. Share my screen. There we go. All right. And we will begin with Dr. Peng's 8 verses as we do. I invite us to find our Qigong, our meditation posture, really rooting into the space beneath us, connecting down to the earth, straightening the spine, tucking the chin, and lifting the crown of the head up. And if your eyes are still open, invite them to just slowly soften and blur as you gaze at the screen or at a space in your room. And feel that blurring, even allowing the eyes to close if it feels good into darkness and just listening to me read the words. Head touches sky. Feet stand on earth. Body relaxes and the mind expands. Be respectful and quiet. Mind is clear and appearance is humble. No distracting thoughts. Mind expands into infinite space. Feel the mind shining into the body, deeply and inwardly. Entire body is harmonized with qi. Harmonized with qi. Here we see a golden crossroads, and with this first official slide, I really want to emphasize this relaxing into the information, letting it flow in, receiving what wants to be received, and letting what isn't relevant right now just to slip away on the wind with the leaves and the breeze. Crossroads mark the meeting of paths, an intersection, the point between destinations where no single path dominates. Crossroads are celebrated because they join disparate regions, species, cultures, or natural forces in one place. Human crossroads carry symbolic and ritual meaning. Natural crossroads gain cultural status when humans or animals repeatedly use them, though the biological phenomenon itself is simply an intersection of movement or habitat features. Natural crossroads occur whenever two or more linear features in the landscape meet or intersect, creating meeting points that influence animal movement, water flow, vegetation, and human use. The most well-known crossroads in nature are places where major natural pathways intersect: animal migration routes, continental divides, and ecological transition zones. These natural crossroads are famous because they concentrate wildlife, they shape ecosystems, and they often become symbolic or sacred for humans. And now we'll just go through several slides of examples of crossroads in nature, and we will recognize all of these because crossroads surround us in our experiences of the world. Well, this first one, we see animal trails and game paths that intersect at feeding or crossing spots. And here we have deer, which many of us have seen deer at crossroads, for better or worse. River and stream confluences where two channels join, creating a clear intersection of separate flows merging into one. This is one of my favorite crossroads in nature, where you experience the streams coming individually and merging and then continuing on. It's one of my favorite meditation places to visit. And here, linear boundaries blur and cross each other as habitat edges, such as wetland margin meets upland or forest meets meadow. So these linear paths, they meet and then they blur and transform, and these two seemingly separate places come together. Ridgelines, valleys, and natural passes that converge and produce predictable travel routes for wildlife also create crossroads. Another example is root or mycelial networks meeting at nutrient or moisture hotspots below ground. So we also have crossroads among mycelium in nature. Mm. And migratory flyaway intersections where different routes overlap or cross. So here we see we see geese and ducks together overlapping. This is just an example of a mass migration. It's beautiful. Mm. Water, food, or shelter commonly co-occur at crossroads, making them resource magnets for wildlife activity. Deer, elk, moose, bears, coyotes, foxes, small mammals, reptiles, and birds. A broad mix of predators, prey, and pollinators congregate at crossroads. Thus, these crossroads serve as natural travel corridors and feeding grounds for all. And therefore, also, crossroads come with risk as well as reward. Many species follow ancient migration paths that now intersect with human roads. Here we see the Trappers Point Wildlife Overpass in Wyoming, and it provides safe passage for migrating pronghorn, which have used the area as a migration corridor for thousands of years. So we see how these crossroads have had to evolve with these ancient migration pathways. So this itself is an intersection of the old and the new, the human. Next, we will look at a few examples of famous natural crossroads. This photo is the Serengeti Mara ecosystem in Tanzania and Kenya, and it's known for the Great Migration, where millions of wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles cross paths with predators at water sources. I'll just let us sit with everything happening in this image. It captures that crossroad energy of predator and prey meeting with the abundance of resources. This is Yellowstone National Park, and it is a crossroads for elk, bison, and pronghorn migrations, where multiple herds converge seasonally. Another example occurs with continental divides. They can also have crossroads. And one example is the Triple Divide Peak in Montana, which is pictured here. And from the summit of the Triple Divide Peak, rain and melted snow flow in three directions: to the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, or to the Arctic Ocean via Hudson's Bay. And this flowing creates a crossroads of watersheds. Here we see the Isthmus of Panama, a land bridge that became a crossroads about 3 million years ago for species moving between North and South America. This is a vital piece of land. And another example, we see monarchs from across the North American continent, and they funnel into central Mexico each winter, creating a natural crossroads for millions of butterflies. Here we can experience a little bit of what that might be like to witness all of these millions of butterflies converging. Hmm. And here we have the Strait of Gibraltar. It's between Spain and Morocco. And it's a natural bottleneck that overlaps with several major migratory highways used by birds, sea turtles, whales, fish, and other mammals, and they cross between Europe and Africa here. The combination of abundant food and its strategic position along these migratory highways makes the Strait of Gibraltar a vital stopover point. And as I was sharing Crossroads research with Alex this week, he was inspired by the Strait of Gibraltar and reminded of Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. And he would like to share an excerpt from the story because it begins here at the Strait of Gibraltar. So I will just let him share that and then I'll come back and share a little bit more.
Yeah, so I got the book here, and for those of you, I know that this is a very, very popular book, obviously, and a lot of people are probably familiar with this, but in case you aren't, or if you've forgotten the particulars, I'll try to set up the scene a little bit. Um, so in this book, Santiago, the protagonist, who's also referred to as the boy throughout the text, um, he leaves his home and he wants to go traveling, so he becomes a shepherd, because when you don't have a lot of money and you want to travel at this time, the way to do that is to become a shepherd. So he has this flock of sheep and he's traveling across Spain. And as he's coming upon this little town of Tarifa, which is right at the very southern edge of Spain, looking across at Morocco, he wants to get help interpreting this recurring dream that he has as he's been tending his sheep, where he keeps seeing the pyramids of Egypt and there's this treasure there. So he needs help interpreting this dream, so he goes and seeks out this gypsy woman's advice, and she basically tells him that he has to go collect this treasure and then give her 1/10 of it. That was like her advice. And so he was kind of upset. He was about ready to give up his dream, and then he runs into this like mysterious old man who calls himself Melchizedek, and refers to himself as the King of Salem. So this is kind of the extra push that he needs to kind of get across this threshold to pursue this dream. And so in the story, the Strait of Gibraltar here is like this literal and figurative crossroads or threshold in his journey, and he can decide to pursue his dream, even though it sounds crazy, or he can just go on living his life, tending his flock of sheep. He's met this merchant's daughter he's somewhat enamored with. He's been flirting with her. He wants to potentially, propose to her and so on. So he can see these paths diverging, and it's just it was, as soon as she showed me this photo, I just like immediately transported to this story. So I will read an excerpt. The boy began again to read his book, but he was no longer able to concentrate. He was tense and upset because he knew that the old man was right. So he began to wander through the city and found himself at the gates. There was a small building there with a window at which people bought tickets to Africa, and he knew that Egypt was in Africa. "Can I help you?" asked the man behind the window. "Maybe tomorrow," said the boy, moving away. If he sold just one of his sheep, he knew he'd have enough to get to the other shore of the strait. The idea frightened him. "Another dreamer," the ticket seller said to his assistant, watching the boy walk away. While standing at the ticket window, the boy had remembered his flock and decided he should go back to being a shepherd. In 2 years, he had learned everything about shepherding. He knew how to shear sheep, how to care for the pregnant ones, how to protect the sheep from wolves. He knew all the fields and pastures of Andalusia, and he knew what was the fair price for every one of his animals. He decided to return to his friend's stable by the longest route possible. As he walked past the city's castle, he interrupted his return and climbed the stone ramp that led to the top of the wall. From there, he could see Africa in the distance. Someone had once told him that it was from there that the Moors had come to occupy all of Spain. He could see almost the entire city from where he sat, including the plaza where he had talked with the old man. Curse the moment I met that old man, he thought. He had come to the town only to find a woman who could help interpret his dream. Neither the woman nor the old man were at all impressed by the fact that he was a shepherd. They were solitary individuals who no longer believed in things, he thought. They didn't understand that shepherds become attached to their sheep. He knew everything about each member of his flock. He knew which ones were lame, which was to give birth in 2 months from now, which were the laziest. He knew how to shear them, how to slaughter them. If he ever decided to leave them, they would suffer. The wind began to pick up. He knew the wind. People called it the Levanter, because on it the Moors had come from the Levant at the eastern end of the Mediterranean. The Levanter increased in intensity. Here I am between my flock and my treasure, the boy thought. He had to choose between something he had become accustomed to and something that he wanted to have. There was also the merchant's daughter, but she wasn't as important as his flock because she didn't depend on him. Maybe she didn't even remember him. He was sure it made no difference to her on which day he appeared. For her, every day is the same. And when every day is exactly the same as the next, it's because people fail to recognize the good things that happen in their lives every day that the sun rises. I left my father, my mother, and the town castle behind. They have gotten used to my being away, and so have I. The sheep will get used to my not being there too, the boy thought. From where he sat, he could observe the plaza. People continued to come and go. A young couple sat on the bench where he had talked with the old man, and they kissed. The Levanter was still getting stronger, and he felt its force on his face. The wind had brought the Moors, yes, but it also brought the smell of the desert and of veiled women. It had brought with it the sweat and the dreams of men who had once left to search for the unknown, for gold and adventure, and for the pyramids. The boy felt jealous of the freedom of the wind, but he saw that he could have the same freedom. There was nothing to hold him back except himself. The sheep, the merchant's daughter, and the fields of Andalusia were only steps along the way to his destiny.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just take a moment and let the story flow through us. The story just helped illustrate, for humans, individually and collectively, a crossroads can be a symbolic and even history-making place or point, physical and literal, of transition, choice, transformation, or contact with the divine. It's when we stand right in the middle of what has been and where we are and what could be, and we have that moment to leap into the unknown, as the boy does. In European and American folklore, crossroads are places where the veil between worlds is thin. Spirits, deities, or omens often appear at crossroads because they are neither fully one thing nor another. They can exist in between. And we saw that in the story with the boy. The old man, he's timeless. He's not of this world or fully of the invisible realm. He's both. And he lingers at that crossroads, meeting those who are at the precipice of a great destiny or not. It gives just a little nudge. And that can be found at a crossroads. Where the veils are thin, you may find a guide that helps you take that next step to what's best for you. And as we mentioned earlier, and as we all know, we are approaching Samhain, Halloween, and All Saints' Day. And we know that this is a liminal space, which the crossroads are also a liminal space, as I know we feel. It's the threshold between the living and the dead, between the sacred and the profane, right now especially. And they're thought to meet as we mark this transition from harvest to winter and from life to death in the seasonal cycle. So we get those opposites, those kind of rigid, linear landscapes that we saw earlier in the presentation. And as we enter these crossroads, we see them soften and curve and blur. And what seemed rigid or fixed, or like, well, of course I'm a shepherd, I'll be a shepherd forever, it begins to dissolve, and new possibilities start to emerge from these shadows, from this glowing light, from that space between light and dark. And we don't really know where it's headed, but we can take a step. And crossroads bring us that. In ancient Greece, Hecate, the goddess of magic, crossroads, and the dead, who was often accompanied by dogs, polecats, or serpents. So these dogs, polecats, or serpents were also animals that could frequent these crossroads. She was honored at three-way crossroads, which were seen as thresholds to the underworld. And ancient Greeks also placed garlic as an offering for Hecate on piles of stones at crossroads. And we also recall from last year, braided garlic was hung in the thresholds of homes to offer guidance and protection from the invisible realm. And people would also wear garlic. So we have these different elements of nature that help us engage with this crossroads energy that can be very exciting, but also a little bit unnerving. And we can lean into these nature helpers. In African and Native American traditions, crossroads are places where a trickster, often in animal form, coyote, raven, or spider, appear to test or guide travelers through uncertainty and the possibility of transformation. So in this, we see that same thing. It's that energy of this could go great, and this, who knows how it'll go. So it's that embodiment of all possibility, and it's this sort of neutrality. It could be anything. So I love that in these trickster animals that our human traditions work with. This is the final slide. I don't know if our puppies are audible. This is the final slide, and no, okay, good. I couldn't do a Crossroads presentation in October without reading Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken. So I thought we would just end here. I'll go ahead and read it. Let yourself sink into the poem and into your own memories, just very softly. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thank you. That's the end of the formal Crossroads. Mm.
What a powerful, precious presentation. And thank you for the story from The Alchemist. I feel like the presentation and all the pictures and the poem bring me to realizing how much I am at a crossroads, and the pull towards the familiar and the wonder of stepping out from it. So thank you so much, both of you.
Yeah. Thank you, Angie. We're holding that crossroads energy. It's powerful. I wondered how many of us would connect with that, like where we have crossroads in our own lives right now. So thank you. Hola. Mm.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Alex. I love your storytelling. It's so fun. I was reflecting on garlic from last year and remembering that shortly after your presentation with all of the valuable, um, practical and spiritual information that came up, I was walking down a road. I mean, maybe it was at a crossroads, and I just in town, and there was this whole head of garlic just dumped on the side of the sidewalk. And you had told us how to plant it and all the stuff. So anyhow, I did. I planted all the cloves and the whatever in the garden. Just this, I didn't do any more than that. Just with this whole head of garlic I found on the road. And anyway, I just wanted to bring one of the babies that I harvested this year. So now I have like, I don't know, 20 of these little heads of garlic. Um, and I just think that was so fun and so cool. It's so meaningful. I mean, we have enough garlic for the year. I'm gonna go plant, I don't know what kind of garlic it is. It's beautiful. It's kind of red, and I'm gonna plant it again in the garden. Um, yeah, and I'm gonna work with it at Crossroads
Mm.
too, because I know last year you were talking about putting it in the stone at the crossroads and in your door also. And then I just also I have so many things to share. I also wanted to share, this was just calling to be shared. This is beautiful artwork. You mentioned owls and crossroads. And this is artwork by my friend Kate Stowe. There we go.
That's beautiful.
And it was just like you talked about, that liminal space where all things are possible and we're kind of in the imaginal realm. And here's this owl moon face turning into a sea of fishes. And anyway, so just adding to the pot of softening what feels rigid.
That image is perfect. And it's even a little bottleneck there that it's it's guiding through that into that opening.
I didn't notice, but you're so right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been, of course, this time of year, I've been really thinking about when we receive the call, right? The call comes in so many different forms, right? For the boy in the story, it came through a dream. But sometimes we're just walking down the road and realize, oh, maybe I should change this thing or rework this thing, and you don't really know why. And often the call feels really scary because it often involves a difficult conversation with somebody you love and changing identity or the way things are structured in your very intimate life, right? And anyhow, I'll just share I received such a call recently and I said yes to it. And this was about a month ago. A little matter, but felt really big at the time. And it has shifted so much in my life, made so many things that I did think were kind of rigid and stuck and structured open up. And there's so many new possibilities. So just, I mean, I'm still in it, but just giving that slight perspective. We get these little intuitive hits all the time. And we don't have to say yes to all of them, but yeah. And it feels like that guardian of the crossroads, it's almost, I mean, sometimes it's like someone saying you can't pass. It's like that, it's that barrier that, oh, I don't want to have that conversation with somebody. I don't want to change things up because it'll, like the boy said, what are the sheep going to do? There's always all the things that are relying on us, and those are often the reasons we give ourselves for not answering the call, for not making the change. But anyhow,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Alex.
Mm. Howla. Howla. Thank you. Yeah. That's part of that being tested at Crossroads also, because that trickster energy brings the testing and it's not easy. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Trudy, did you want to share? Hey.
Yes. I'm actually driving and I pulled over at the crossroads there. Thank you for this. Sorry I was late. I just wanted to share a guardian, who lives at the crossroad in the Yoruba pantheon. Eshu is that guardian, that trickster. So I just wanted to read a little bit about Eshu, if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
I don't mind, please. Yes.
All right. So in the Yoruba tradition, no prayer reaches the heavens without first passing through the hands of Eshu. He is the divine messenger, the guardian of the crossroads, and the spirit of choice and change. Some call him a trickster, and he is, but not out of malice. Eshu stirs the pot of life to keep it from growing stagnant. His shrine is often a simple stone at a gateway or in a marketplace, places of constant movement and decision. He reminds us that life is unpredictable. In one famous story, he walked between two friends wearing a cap that was red on one side and black on the other. Soon the friends were arguing fiercely over the color of the cap, their lifelong bond broken by a simple trick. Eshu did this not to be cruel, but to show how easily our certainty can be a lie. Eshu teaches us that at every crossroad, we must be humble and aware. He is the challenge that forces us to question what we think we know, and in doing so, he opens the door to true wisdom. So Eshu asks, where in your life are you too certain? What assumptions must you challenge to find a new path? Are you brave enough to embrace the unpredictable? Oh, yes.
Thank you, Trudy.
Thank you.
That was perfect. Thank
And
you.
I'll continue my drive and I'm listening. even though I'm
Yeah.
off camera.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for bringing
Thank
that to
you.
us. Yeah. Thank
Paula.
you. Howla. I love that. I love how much that um gives us the neutrality of this. Like it's not good or bad. It's not to set friends fighting. I mean, that questioning and that gazing at the reference framework and wondering, like bringing that critical gaze and that willingness to move and flow and change and entertain more than what we initially think may or may not be correct. Yeah, I love that neutrality, reframing what could be deemed like bad or, yeah, thank you. That's the perfect illustration. Yeah.
Rudy, did you write that or is that from a book? It's perfect. I could not have said all those things better if I tried.
I can't take credit for it, no. It's from a book. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, thank you. Oh, Suan, yes.
Yeah, I'm not at home. I'm in a hotel room and struggling with using the phone for Zoom, but and I got on late because I was having trouble getting on with the phone, but it didn't matter because it was just an incredibly beautiful presentation, and everything everyone has shared has really gone deep into my heart. I did a 2-hour walk on the hard packed beach by the ocean today, and I'm in South Carolina, but it was 61 degrees and blustery, and there was this angry sea crashing, and they told me that the waters there are very calm, but they weren't today. And I was contemplating the crossroads that I'm at because I have some time alone here, and um it's really every morsel. And I was thinking of Robert Frost's poem, being a Vermonter and kind of growing up with him, and in school, and then you read it, and that was like your finale, and it was just so special, because I feel like oftentimes in the past I have taken the road less traveled, the really terrifying, risky ones, like forming my own orchestra and being a conductor for as long as I could do it, and then got sick because I didn't know how to delegate. But that choice put me in a whole new direction. I would never come to sound healing and what I'm doing now if that hadn't happened. So, but for the last 25 years, I've been in sort of stuck in survival since George passed away, and thinking that the only thing I can really do is that I know this is the certainty thing that I can really do well is teach. But that's changing now too, and I'm at a crossroads of giving up that which I thought was certain for I'm not sure exactly what it is that's coming through, and so this has really stirred. I feel quite emotional right in this moment, and it stirred a lot up, and I hope that it's going to stir some dreams, because they have gone underground. I haven't had any dreams in this week, and it's the first week I haven't since I started doing the dream weave, and so I think that's because there's a part of me that's terrified. Fear is, blocking everything right now. So thank you for opening up the possibilities and all the love and all the wisdom that each of you have shared. So I have a couple of more days alone, and we'll go kayak with some dolphins tomorrow and see what kind of communication comes in. And with other wildlife too. It's an estuary that I'm going to go into. So I'm really excited to see herons and manatees and turtles and all of that, hopefully.
Mm.
And maybe some crossroads in the waters.
Mhm. Mhm. Oh, thank you, Suan.
Thank you.
Yeah. You capture so many important points, one of which is that heightened emotion at Crossroads. I mean, it's exciting and it's, fear inducing. Everything is a little more magnified. It's unknown. We're surrounded rather than just having things around us a few directions. There's possibility all around. So feeling those strong emotions feels so connected to this Crossroads energy. And bringing our practice to that, and grounding in this liminal and honoring this time of heightened experience feels really powerful. And I appreciate you bringing that tenderness of this time to us, because it is tender when we face transformation. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Suana. We will be holding you and these crossroads and all of the places where it feels linear, but it wants to curve. So, yeah, thank you. Haula. Haula. And tomorrow you'll be holding all of us in the nature space. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Mm. Is there anything else that wants to be shared or anyone that wants to be brought into this liminal space of the crossroads and letting go of what's ready to be let go and embracing what's maybe ready to be embraced?
I'll put Tom and Wendy.
Tom and Wendy. Yola.
I'll put Jane and Laura.
Jane and Laura. Yola.
I want to put Alex and Caitlin.
Alex and Caitlin. Yola.
I'll put Peggy and Debbie. I was going to meet with Debbie, but she's getting sick, so I'm not going to get to see her. So, and Peggy had to go to North Carolina. So, but just embracing both of them because there was a possibility of seeing them this time. There a possibility of our roads crossing, but they did.
Peggy and Debbie. Yola, and that your roads will cross somewhere farther down the path. Yola.
I'll add myself and my husband Glenn because our roads are diverging right now.
Trudy and Glenn and their roads.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yola.
Add my parents who are at a crossroads of their own right now.
Alex's parents and their crossroads. Yola. I'm going to add this time of year and that crossroads with the living and those who've passed and our ancestors. I'm just holding that lightly.
Thank you for saying that. My dad's birthday was yesterday, and my mom's will be tomorrow. They were born in the same year, and the veils are thin, and I would really love to put them in the field, and that maybe they will be able to be closer in contact through this thin veil that's here now.
Suan's mom and dad. Yola. All right. And we will trust that anyone else who wants to be in this beautiful field is here with us. And we know that this field carries forward. All right. Find your comfortable posture. Seated, standing, or laying down. And feel the physical body, the emotional body, the mind settle. Take a few deep breaths. And maybe just sigh the energy into the surface beneath you, feeling held and supported. Grounding and connecting to the earth. Connecting to the visible and the invisible, and allowing that beautiful earth energy to flow up through the feet, through the lower body, and the torso, up through the neck, and the head, and out the crown, and feeling that earth energy consistently flowing through, merging with our own energy, and inviting the heavenly energy to flow through the crown of the head, also merging with the earth energy and our energy, flowing in through the head, the neck, the torso, the hips and the legs, feeling our bodies, our energy bodies, our information bodies, all as a crossroads between heaven and earth. And from this place of crossroads, invite the awareness to flow into the center of the head. This peaceful awareness filling the center of the head. Observing the space, the tissues, and just relaxing into that observation. Allowing this soft humming, this sound to merge with the head inner space. And this merging, this aware observation flows into the sense organs, the eyes, the nose, the mouth and jaw. The merging of the sound invites any tension to release, to dissolve. The ears. This inner space, this inner substance of the head and the sense organs. It softens. It blurs. The form of it begins to dissolve, dissolving into the formless of that liminal, invisible space of the universe. And we feel this same peaceful awareness flowing into the neck, observing the inner space of the neck, bringing that same gentle sound to merge with the neck. Allowing the sound to flow effortlessly. Merging into all the cells and all the spaces. And this neck inner space, it softens, dissolving from the form, the structure, softening into the formless, and merging with the invisible universe. And this peaceful awareness moves into the shoulders, paying special attention to any stress, any tightness held in the shoulders, any bracing against uncertainty, just noticing and bringing that gentle hum into the shoulders, inviting the tension to ease. And this peaceful awareness continues to hold the shoulders as it flows into the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists and hands. observing what's present, merging with it, and inviting the inner space, the inner form of the shoulders, the arms and hands to soften, feeling the edges blur, the structure ease and open into the liminal and into the invisible. Shoo. And this peaceful awareness flows into the chest, observing the entirety of the chest, our beautiful hearts, singing the song of our lives, holding our joys, our heartbreaks. Mm. Mm. And the lungs, the nourishment of the breath, and the sorrows that have flown in and out, just observing. Mm. Mm. And this observation holds the chest, the breasts, all the tissues. Mm. Mm. And we feel the inner space of the heart, the lungs, the breasts. We feel the margins, the boundaries softening, blurring. The chest inner space dissolving, dissolving, and merging into the universe. Shoo. And we bring this peaceful awareness into the solar plexus and the organs there, the liver, gallbladder, spleen, and pancreas. Mm. Mm. Allowing this gentle hum to merge. Mm. Merging into the spaces. And that merging and the observation expands into the middle and lower abdomen, encompassing all the organs, the stomach, intestines, kidneys, adrenals, bladder, all the reproductive organs. Mm. Mm. They're all merging with this peaceful awareness. Mm. Mm. And in this observation, we see the shape of the organs and the spaces all around softening, softening and blurring, merging into the invisible, merging with the universe. Shoo. This peaceful awareness flows into the spine, the neck, upper back, middle back, and low back, and central nervous system. And we let that gentle sound vibrate and merge. We feel the inner space of the spine, the central nervous system, softening, releasing any stress, tension, or holding in the back, allowing it to blur and ease, dissolving into the invisible. Shoo. And this peaceful awareness flows into the hips, and the legs, the thighs, the knees, the calves, and the feet. Observing and merging into the lower body. Mm. Mm. We observe the shape of the lower body, its edges dissolving and blurring, merging into the invisible. Shoo. We bring this peaceful awareness to our entire body, our entire being. Observing. And letting this gentle hum encompass us. Merging with all the spaces, the form, the formless. And recognizing our own liminal state between form and formless, transforming in every moment, merging and transforming. And inviting this process to flow into any areas that are ready to move and become different than they are, different than they thought they could be. Inviting this with the utmost care and gentleness and love. Mm. 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 And in this observation of merging and transforming, our entirety softens, blurs, and merges with the formless, the invisible of the universe. Shoo. And in this space of merging, we are love, we are peace, we are joy, and we are gratitude. Together in this shared healing consciousness field, in this shared space of the liminal, of the transforming. We give our deepest thanks to all of our teachers, all of our healers, all wisdom traditions and beings. And we bring this gratitude and this awareness into our lives, into our waking state, our dreaming state. And check in and see if you'd like to stay here, leaving the formal practice whenever and however you're ready. Otherwise, take a few deep breaths And feeling the energy of the crossroads, possibility, any heightened emotions that may bring on. And take a breath and bring that energy into the center of the body behind the navel, just feeling the threads of possibility of what's been, what is, and what could be flowing into the body. Feeling the body filled and nourished and grounded in this space, the space of past, present, and future. Feeling the earth beneath and grounding into that earth as we embody this liminal space and we bring it into the visible, into our homes or our hotels, wherever we are right now, as we bring it into our physical spaces, knowing that we carry the form and the formless with us always. And we can ground and breathe as we connect and really take our time as we face our own crossroads. And stack the palms over the navel, hand over hand. Just breathing a little. Slowly release the hands, gently move the body, and open the eyes when you're ready. Mm. Thank you, guys. Hella.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you for all of your sharings. Yeah. And we'll carry this. We have All Hallows Eve on Friday. And I wish you all wonderful nights, and we will not be here next week. Next week is Teacher Way's 7th module of this program. So, but we'll be back the week after that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Bye.
taking us to those dark places. Those beautiful dark places. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Bless
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you all for sharing the beautiful dark places with such presence and gentleness. I appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Me too.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Good night.
Good
Thank you.
night.
Good night.